Morning, everybody. It's the 13th of May, and this is our engaging spiritual depth for today. A lot of us have a little bit of extra time on our hands these days, but if you don't have a lot of extra time, this spiritual practice can be helpful for you too. I got this from, my seminary, Iliff School of Theology in Denver. One of the things that you had to do as part of your personal development or your growth was you had to have a spiritual director or a therapist for a time to explore some thoughts about your relationship with God, relationship with other people, and just about who you are as a person. And so I owe this to my spiritual director. His name is Tim. And this I think is a particularly powerful thing. Do you ever have times where you feel like God is telling you to do something, or telling you to maybe reach out to a person, or maybe consider a new avenue in your life, a new relationship, a new job, a new career, something like that? Or it can be something very simple too. And you kind of are having a tough time processing it. Does this come from God, or is this coming from some other source? Am I being selfish if I consider this? A lot of these questions. And so one of the things that Tim talked about is writing writing two letters. And let's say you have a situation where you're wondering whether God is calling you to a new career, say. And what Tim said was, write a letter, and when you sit down to write the letter, either on your computer or with pen and paper like I prefer to do, the letter starts out, "Dear God." And then you talk with God in the act of writing it out. I'm starting to feel like you are nudging me towards this course of action, and maybe whatever you want. You'll be very surprised that when you take the time to slow down and actually, take pen to paper and write this out, thoughts will come to your mind and flow through your pen or onto your keyboard that your brain, when you're just thinking about them, gets too distracted. There's other things going on. There's noises around. And your thoughts can go too fast. This is a way to slow down. So the first letter is, "Dear God," and talk to God about what you're thinking and about what you're feeling. And then sign at the end, "Love, Charlie," if it's me. Then write a second letter. And the start to this letter is, for me, "Dear Charlie." And the letter ends, "Love, God." And write out what you think God may be trying to tell you. "Dear Charlie, I have been nudging you in this direction," or "I have been trying to suggest some new ways of thinking about something." And then and then sign the letter, the end of it, "Love, God." And then the last thing to do is look at the two letters, look particularly at God's response, or God's letter, if you will, and test it against Scripture and what you know to be true about God. We've been talking about the Jesus hermeneutic. Maybe some of that is helpful for you in who Jesus is trying to teach us who God actually is. And you can look at your letter, and I would imagine that if it says, "Hey, whatever, do something that's illegal or immoral," or something along those lines, but it benefits you personally, it's probably not from God. So test that. But take the time to write these two letters. I think you'll be surprised at the thoughts that come to mind during this process, and how maybe this can help you in a period of discernment, particularly, say, a period of discernment right now during this coronavirus pandemic. Hope this finds you well, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.